great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
And welcome back to another episode of Great Morning. I'm your host, Christian Murmur, Murms, Murmdog, whatever the fuck you want to call me. And to the left of my computer screen, we have the boss, the pimp, the CEO, the chief, slightly special himself, Jimmy the Shooter. How you doing today, bro?
I'm slowing down on my drinking until I get my life in order.
Yeah, you know.
That's pretty much.
By the way, everyone, my life is in shambles and I need to sober up.
There's so many great things out there, man. There's so many great things to do and like so many great other things to be able to accomplish and shit. But hey, guys, guess what? If you want to do that shit, you kind of got to have a little bit of your life in order, you know?
Yeah,
So,
a little bit of it.
Yeah, man. I think it's been consistently over 3 years where I've always done a cleanse, you know?
Yeah.
Like a month or two, 2 months, 3 months. I think
That one time you went, I think, what? You did like fucking 9 months, right?
9 months, yeah.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that.
Yeah, 9 months. Actually, it was during that 9 months time we actually started up the store.
Okay.
We started the store up, the Shopify store for Great Morning. And then I think we were knocking a lot of good stuff out. We did a couple specials within that 9 months. It was really good.
There's
Super good.
you know, it always sucks when someone sobers up. You obviously want to be happy for them and proud of them, especially when it's like it involves your friends or family, right? But then like I always feel a little torn because like obviously you should be happy for that person and they're doing something great for their life. You know, sobering up, everyone should be sober, you know, honestly, when you think about it. But you're torn because, or at least I'm torn sometimes because like you have all these fantastic memories of when you and those people drank together.
Yeah.
So it
it's
sucks because like I have some fantastic stories where you and I were drinking together and like you're fine because like I know you're not going to be like, damn, Murmsy's right, I better start drinking again. You're not like that. But like, you know, some other people might be like, damn, he's saying I was, you know, more fun. I was a better person to be with when I was drinking. Maybe I should just start drinking again. And that's not what I'm saying, but it's just, it sucks because you do have those great memories, but you don't want them to start drinking again, especially if they think they need to sober up. So I don't know. It's like a very torn situation. Like you just said, like you're cutting back on your drinking, and then immediately my mind goes to two places. One, I'm happy for you, and two, I remember the time where me, you, and Trip Got Jimmy were drinking, and then like I was tired. We were staying at your place. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just like tired. I'm like, I don't want to go out. You guys wanted to go out, and it wasn't even that late. It was like 10:30, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay here and maybe fall asleep on the couch. You guys were like, whatever, and you guys go out for a while, and I'm asleep. And then like 3:00 in the morning comes around, and I hear two drunk guys come through the front door. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to pretend to be asleep because like, I don't want to talk to them like all fucked up. Doing that drunk, loud, like whispering where you're like, Kilo, Murmsy's asleep. We should fuck with him. And like,
fuck with him right now, man.
And then I just hear your brother go like, nah, man, let him sleep. And you're like, I'm going to throw a pillow at his head or something. And I'm laying there and I'm like awake, but like I'm pretending to be asleep. I'm like, you better not throw a fucking pillow at me. And then Kilo's like, no, I got an idea. Come in here. And you guys go into the studio, right? And I'm like in and out of sleep at that point. But then every once in a while, I'm waking up because I hear you guys fucking yelling. I'm like, what are they yelling about? And it sounded like you guys were like yelling at each other. I'm like, what the fuck are they yelling about? And come to find out, because then 6:30 in the morning rolls around. I wake up. You guys are about to go to fucking bed. You were up all night.
Oh, yeah.
And I ask you, I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Yelling at each other in there. And you were just like, we were playing chess. I was like, what? What?
Dude, that was one of the most intense chess games we've ever, because I don't think people understand the mindset behind chess, or the mindset that you got to have. Like, you are going in to strategically beat an opponent and be like, I am more forward of a thinker than you. It was super intense. So every single piece that was taken off the board brought up like a whole new issue. It didn't matter what the fuck. It could have been like rook to pawn. Bitch, why ain't you fucking close the microwave? Like, you're always leaving the microwave open. You know what I mean? Like, it was intense, man. But it was probably one of the best games because that game did take us like 3 hours.
It was crazy. I thought, see, I didn't even know that. I thought, like, I figured you were playing a couple games, but like, that makes sense.
We did. Maybe we did play two, but I remember we're just staring at these chess pieces for like 30 fucking minutes, man, before anybody.
The whole thing is hilarious because, like, when you were like whispering about fucking with me while I was asleep, I'm trying to lay there not laughing because it just kept reminding me of that Dave Chappelle joke where he's like, I'm not smoking weed anymore with black people. I'm going to smoke weed only with white people because all white people talk about blah, blah, blah. He goes on and then he's like, but the bad thing about white people is you don't want to fall asleep first around them because they do borderline gay shit when their friends fall asleep. He's like, hey guys, Kevin fell asleep, so we should stick a carrot up his ass and put shaving cream on his balls. And that's what I'm like, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, Jimmy's gonna like throw a piece of like fucking pizza at my face because that was like when you had the hot sauce and stuff too.
Oh, the bomb.
Yeah, that was funny. But anyway, yes, I'm glad you're, cutting back on your drinking if you feel like you need to. But also, hold on, let me do something real quick. To the bottom of my computer screen, we have our in-studio comedian with us right now, Topazkin Chubbsway. Chuck, how you doing today, bro?
Oh man, I'm real good. Just getting back on, playing Mrs. Doubtfire, making breakfast and shit.
What'd you make for breakfast this morning?
I made pancakes and bacon.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I bake the bacon first.
Yes.
And then I slap it on the skillet. So you bake the bacon to keep the bacon long, and then you put it on a skillet to harden it. And then you have, instead of bacon shriveled up short bacon, you have long, hard.
Long and hard.
Long, hard pork.
Bacon. That's right.
I should try that next time.
This morning we had hash browns, eggs, and
toast.
Toast, yeah. Actually, yeah. Hash brown, eggs, and toast. That's good.
Okay.
I woke up so hungry. I woke up starving. I was like, I've got to survive.
So I came in on these drunk stories. Were you hungover or something?
No, we were just
no. We were just talking about I'm about to go through like another cleanse. Basically, man, I'm just gonna not really drink as much until I get my shit together. Even though it is super fun. But me and Chuck, we've got some good stories.
Oh, I'm sure you guys do. Yeah, we were discussing my repugnancy towards the matter because like I said real quick, it's like you're happy, when a friend says they want to sober up, you're proud of them, but at the same time you have all these fantastic memories of when you used to drink together. So that's what we started discussing.
I'm drinking right now.
In that big old mug. That thing looks like a fucking mug. like Thor would be drinking out of that thing. That's a big mug, man.
What Chuck put me on, Chuck, you put me on to Grand Marnier. That stuff is delicious.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that
it's like a citrus cognac.
A cognac. Yeah. Okay, cognac. Okay.
Yeah. That shit goes down.
Drink that shit, man. Straight.
I never liked Hennessy that much.
I mean, it makes sense.
It's shut up. But I mean, no, I because there are good cognacs out there that do taste good. I don't know. It's like Hennessy's like the Jack Daniels of whiskey. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is, man. And it used to be like
cognac,
man.
I should say.
Henny. Oh shit, you got the Hennessy? Oh shit. But now everybody just drinks Hennessy. Kind of over. At least everybody I'm around always drinks Hennessy.
Yeah, remember when we went to that party in San Diego, that like paid for party that like you were helping organize, like you were one of the event coordinators or something.
Mm-hmm.
And well, first of all, there was that big problem, remember, where everyone had to come out because those two guys were fighting. But anyway, we go back inside and we go up to the bar and they're like, what would you like to drink? And I was like, oh, I don't know. What do you guys have? And they're like, well, we got Hennessy. And I was like, oh, well, why'd you even ask me like I had a choice of what to drink? It sounds like I'm drinking fucking Hennessy or water.
The bartender, it's like whenever you go to an event, right? And the bartender's got like two options. You know what I mean? You can get rum or you can get Coke.
Yeah.
And then like if you know, you can get a rum and Coke, or
Yeah.
you can get Coke.
Or a Coke
Get
and
some
rum.
fucking water. Or Coke and rum.
What about a
But like
Coke and rum?
we used to make those jokes because we used to try to simplify everything so people couldn't just start ordering some crazy shit because it was never full bar service. So you'd want to keep it super simple. So one of the super simple solutions was Hennessy.
Just have tons and tons of Hennessy. And, you know,
Everybody's gonna have Hennessy.
that's not a bad idea either, because it also makes it go faster, because then you're not like in line for 35 minutes. Like, what the fuck? Like, what did this fucking asshole order in front of me? Because it's taking forever. Like, yeah, bro, can we have 2 Jaeger bombs? But can you put a tad of vodka in it? And then can you also make it like a half a Long Island iced tea? And then can you shake it up and not stir it for me? And then, you know, add a little bit of ice, but not like cubed ice. Can you add some crushed ice, but like not too much, just a little bit of it's like crazy. The things
There's some shit out there, man. Drinks have so many weird names. Like you've got Zombie, Jungle Juice, Death in the Afternoon, and Aunt Roberta, a Cesaric.
Isn't Jungle Juice just though like any kind? It's like literally like you're pouring just any liquor into like
and juice, right? And just like Kool-Aid,
juice and Kool-Aid and like fruits. I think
it's like fruits and whatever the fuck you have in the house, man.
Yeah, remember that time we watched that video of that guy make it in his sink? Like he had his whole sink filled with Jungle Juice for like this party he was gonna have, and it took like I swear like 17 bottles of liquor or something in that shit.
Oh my god,
fucking nuts! I mean, it was just a lot. It was one of those big like almost industrial sinks. But you know, I wanted to tell you guys something. I have news. It's not great news, but I feel like we should talk about it and keep the comedy aspect of the podcast with it.
Okay.
Yesterday, I wish Stephanie was here too. But she might be running a little late, or not coming. I don't know. We'll hear from her soon. But yesterday, my mother called me. Well, she texted me and she's like, you need to call me. So I called her when I woke up, and she told me, unfortunately, that my grandmother had passed away. So
how did she pass away?
I want to talk about that too. So my grandma was on fucking vacation. She was on a cruise with her boyfriend, and she just that night she went to bed and on the cruise and had a massive heart attack and just passed away. She was 79 years old.
Shit, man, I'm sorry, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You get it. I take solace in the fact knowing
79 is a good life.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I take solace in knowing that she died, and one of the last things she got to see was like the beautiful ocean sitting out in the sun, and then she ate some good dinner that night and went to bed, and that was one of the last things she got to see. So I was like happy about that, and I mean I wasn't happy that she's gone, but I mean like I was happy that that's one of the things she got to see. It wasn't like a stressful moment, or something where she's in the hospital for months or something. So I was glad to know that. But what's interesting, there's a couple things that are interesting. There was a time I was talking to Jimmy about this before we started. And if a listener wants to find which episode it is, that would be awesome. But I couldn't find it. I thought it was like episode 1 with Pizzo, but it could be episode 5 with Rush the Visionary from season 1 of Great Morning, where my mom called me and she was like, yeah, something bad's happening with grandma. Like she's in the hospital. And I had to leave for like 15 minutes during the episode and was like trying to call people and find out what was going on. And it turns out she ended up being fine, obviously.
Right.
And I found it strange that it linked back to almost, the podcast in a way, because like, I could have gotten that phone call an hour before we started recording, an hour after, but no, it was during the podcast. So I figured we should mention her here. So, rest in peace, Grandma. Her name was Jimi. And we love you and we're going to miss you. But, she was a funny lady too. And I called my mom today, and my mom is in a much better mood than she was in yesterday. Obviously, She's more collected today. Yesterday, was just, it fucked everyone up. So I called my mom today, and I'm like, well, what are you doing right now? What's going on? And she's like, well, Grandma had these strong boxes in her house that she wanted us to open. Like after, like she said that, she's like, I have these things ready for you. You need to open them once I pass away. And everyone was kind of like, yeah, like whatever, we'll get the keys and stuff. So they couldn't find the keys to these strong boxes. So they had to like break them open pretty much.
Wow.
And they broke open these strong boxes. And my mom, I was on the phone with my mom. My mom's like looking through like what's in there. And it's like tax documents, right? Just like old 70s and 80s tax documents. My mom's like, why was this important? But then there's like, she was saying there's like certain things that are like letters and numbers and stuff that are circled. And my mom's just like, what is this? The fucking Da Vinci Code? Like, what are we trying to figure out? Some fucking puzzle she left us or something? Is there buried treasure somewhere? Like, what is this? And I don't know. I just thought it was, it's probably just a bunch of nonsense. I know, like, and that's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, maybe I should.
I gotta set something up that's gonna bother people for the rest of their lives.
I know they're gonna be like, what does this mean? An R, an 8, a 7, and a Q. What is this? What is this? It's I don't know.
Blank map.
There's a map in there. There's a map with a circle somewhere in fucking like Nigeria, and it's like, what is she? Wait, Grandma never went to Nigeria, or did she?
My map is going to be to the gas station with numbers circled. Play my lottery numbers after I'm gone. Play my numbers.
There's some pretty messed up way. That's like the ultimate old people thing though. Like that's a great way to go out, is because old people always go on cruises and travel. So you might as well like do something that you love, and then you know what I mean. Like that's the last life experience that you have, which is pretty beautiful. But it's better than like that. There was a guy, Alexander Pop. He was 46 years old, and he was eaten by a dove of pigs.
What?
I didn't know you called.
He was eaten by a drove of pigs, man.
Oh,
not a dove. Drove.
I was gonna say, like, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Dude, could you imagine just your pigs? A pig, like pigs, they're grazers.
Pigs will eat anything though, bro. They're not usually vicious. They won't like attack you like a lion and try to eat you, but you put anything in like a bowl, and if they're hungry, they're gonna fucking eat it. Apparently they'll eat like the bones too. Like their mouth will just crush everything up and they'll fucking swallow it.
That used to be like a mafia threat, like we'll feed you to the pigs because they eat it all and then they shit.
Yeah.
I think they do, man, because this isn't the first time I've heard of people's body being eaten by pigs. The mafia does that.
There was that movie. What movie? It was Hannibal. It's like the sequel to Silence of the Lambs, where that guy, I don't know, it's kind of silly, but like the bad guy in it, he's played by Gary Oldman. He's got like these pigs like ready. He like genetically bred them to be like man-eating pigs, and he's like, when I catch Hannibal, I'm gonna throw him into the pit and the pigs are gonna eat him. And it's kind of silly, but like then, spoiler alert if you haven't fucking seen the movie, but then he ends up falling in that and the pigs fucking eat him. And it's kind of like a really violent scene in that movie, but like I remember watching it and I always thought like that's kind of dumb. Like why do people go through these elaborate methods of revenge? Because it seems so easy for it to fail or so easy for someone to find a way out of it. And I think it was Austin Powers. They had the best joke about that. Like, why don't we just get a gun and shoot him and then he's fucking dead? Like we just know he's dead. Why do we have to go through this elaborate scheme? And it's Scott talking to his dad, and his dad's Dr. Evil, and he's just like, he turns to him, he's like, Scott, you just don't get it, do you? Like I need to put him in a room, right, and close the door where I can't see him, and then have him slowly drop into a pit of water where there's man-eating sea bass, right? Yeah, he's got 5 minutes to find a way out of it, but I'm going to hopefully assume that everything goes according to plan, all right? You just don't get it. We can't just get a gun and shoot him. We're not doing that.
You just don't get it. You don't get it. That's like the ultimate rebuttal. You don't get it. You just don't understand.
You just don't get it. And it's so true. I don't know. I wonder if there's actually, like, for the people who have murdered for revenge out there, if any of you want to come on the show and talk to us about it, we'll distort your voice.
Revenge is only good if you don't get caught.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not worth doing the time for revenge. You know what I mean? Like just to go out there, grab a gun, like, oh yeah, people will praise you for a couple of years, and then your life is over. But did you know that scientists from the Mourn Center at the University of Utah, like they were able to bring back a set of eyes from a dead body? Like they got the eyes to respond.
Ooh, this sounds like a Frankenstein kind of thing.
Yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, what if you were dead like your spirit's wherever the fuck your spirit is, and then you just start seeing real world shit again. And you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, but I mean, that would be funny.
You're just eternally looking at a fucking hospital room or white walls and shit. You're like, I know I'm dead, but like I see everything that's going on right
You're in the middle of haunting somebody and you start seeing.
You start like blinking. But like, doesn't it have to? I mean, no, it does, obviously. But wouldn't it have to be connected to your brain for your brain to think?
That's the thing. So our bodies are electromagnetically efficient. You know what I mean? Like everything goes off of a pulse. We all have a quote unquote wave, which is why people are like, yeah, man, or a vibe, a vibration, or whatever the fuck, right? So everybody's like, yeah, man, that's a vibe. What's your vibe? What's your
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're talking about.
That hipster shit, right? But apparently not, man, because it wasn't connected to a brain. It was just being charged. You know what I'm saying? It was being charged and they were responding to light, and the pupils were reacting, the photoreceptors and the cells of the macula were reacting. Everything, man, these eyes just started fucking going and doing what the eyes were supposed to do.
Well, that's very interesting.
They're getting closer to what's the word? Avoiding death, as they say. Isn't Walt Disney frozen?
I think that might be a rumor, but there are people who have wanted themselves frozen after. I know Larry King had himself frozen after he died.
He did.
Yeah.
These people know something we don't know.
You know what's fucked up? Like, a lot of people call those people crazy, but like, honestly, like, if I had, because it's a ton of money, like you have to keep paying for it, so you have to be like really rich to do that right now. But if I had a shit ton of money, I feel like, why not give it a shot? Freeze myself, and then 300 years from now, they know how to reanimate a body, and they unfreeze me. And
what's that movie with Terry Crews where he's the president?
Idiocracy.
And like the one guy from the 80s or 90s or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just basic common sense is like a full-blown fucking genius in the future.
Oh yeah, he's just there. He's a genius. Yeah, that's a great satire movie. That's that's Mike Judge, who did we talked about him a couple episodes ago. He did
Mike Judge. He did
Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead, yeah.
King of the Hill. He did Office Space too, if you've ever seen that. That's the one where they break the computer. That's a really good movie too. No, he's hilarious. He's a great comedy. He's kind of a genius himself. But yeah, I mean, that's a great way to look at the future in general. But anyway, going back to death and reanimating bodies. This is a very, it is October, so this is a very good topic for this episode. What my question is, right? Say right now they figured out like, oh, by the way, we can reanimate a dead person, bring them back to life. Mm-hmm. What do you do? Like, what do you do with that person?
It's scary, man, because what people would probably do some fucked up shit. You'd have to find out, like, do we still feel pain? And I'm sure somebody would like cut them or like shoot them, or they'd be like, do they still feel? Because you don't have a soul. It's just a physical body that's running. So it's almost like being charged up on batteries without a soul. Because I feel like your soul is separate from your physical. So if you can bring back the physical, like, no offense, but I don't want grandma walking around just as a hollow shell, physically charged up without grandma.
Yeah, and like when I know all of our knowledge here is going off of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is probably not a good thing to go off of. But in that, right? So like when Dr. Frankenstein brought back the monster, like it was all kind of like fucked up and zombie like the brain wasn't just working perfectly like a brain should. And I'm talking about like, what if they were able to like, say I died right now, like they reanimate my brain and my brain is just like how it was before. Like, can they keep doing that as time passes along? Because like at some points, like I'm going to be fucking 89 years old, close to death, right? You can't, like when someone's that old, you can't keep reanimating them, right? Because wouldn't they just die again the next day or something?
I don't know. Do you got to charge up like an iPhone?
No.
You gotta plug yourself in.
I think you do the Captain America thing, and just
you just get ripped. You just get ripped out of your mind.
You
just a dead person constantly working out like strong body.
But I think that's more like time travel, or would it be a situation like have you guys seen Jordan Peele's Get Out?
Yeah.
Like, so how like, the older guys, it's white people in that movie, but like say in general, like older people just transmit their like brain and their consciousness into the body of someone younger. could we do that? Or maybe like they could build like, say, instead of doing that, because that makes it seem like, we're just taking over black people's bodies. That's not okay. Instead of that, right? What if they use like an animatronic body, like a robotic body, and then they were able to transfer your brain and put it into that, and it's like
download your conscious. Okay, so there's a thing on that. So they're saying right now they're collecting data on people through social media and apps and like habits and all this other shit. So they're saying what they can do is they can not necessarily your memories and shit, but your habits. So they can download your habits into basically like a chip. It's almost like that show, Carbon Fiber or whatever the fuck, where they like upload people's consciousness and then put it into another human body, and it's like a different body but the same person. That type of shit is kind of happening. So right now they're recording your habits and your patterns, and then they can download that, and then they can give it to AI, and AI can mimic you as a person.
Okay, but like, would that still be you though?
No, I don't think it'd still be you, but it would just be like the best you, the best second best. Like, yeah, you guys.
I don't know, man, because if you seen everybody sees my social media, dude. There's nothing intelligent that I post.
The AI would just be as unintelligent as you.
As you see, like, like, oh, let's go through his Facebook. Meme, something stupid. Meme. Oh, Kanye is great. Meme. Oh, let's make a bot out of him. That
you just have another. Yeah, they'd probably be like, should we contribute to society with this guy?
yeah.
But see, like, I would be more interested in, like, that's cool and all, but I'd be more interested in finding a way where it would be you instead of like a copy of you, because then you're still dead. Like, how do you beat death? Do you think that'll ever be something that's
you
possible?
ever heard of? I don't know, man. It's almost like quasi living. Like they put you in that medium, because even people, let's say people that are brain dead, right? They're on a defibrillator or whatever. Like they're completely hooked up. They have a consciousness, but they don't have a body. However, their body still grows nails, right? Women can still menstruate. Like their body still does what the body does. They just are disconnected between a consciousness and the physical, so they can't control it. What scientists are trying to do is they're trying to reverse that. They're trying to reverse it and be like, okay, well, what if we didn't have a body, but we are able to channel or harness someone's consciousness, which could go into fucking damn near anything. It's almost like that. You guys ever seen Black Mirror where they put like Miley Cyrus in that fucking doll?
Yeah, and I hated that episode though. That episode kind of sucked.
Really?
It was a trash episode, but they're getting to the point where they're not trying to find out, okay, physically, how can we keep people around? They're trying to find out, how can we collect consciousness and then put that shit in other things, and they're using AI as a medium, because AI is conscious now. You know that, right?
Yeah, but like I get that, and I like it. It's interesting, but I want there to be a way that you pretty much that you can just like, I won't die, or that there's a way where it'll just be my brain forever
in your memories.
And my memories, like everything, just everything. I don't care if I'm in a new body. Fucking put me in a new body, whatever. Fine, do it.
What kind of body would you want to go into?
Something like LeBron's.
Jesus Christ. I was just about to fucking say LeBron James, because like LeBron James, honestly, love him or hate him. And if you don't like basketball, whatever, that's fine. But you can't not admit that he's probably like, if we were to make a super soldier right now, it would probably look like LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, the dude looks like he could pick me up with his fucking pinky. Like he's a monster. He's a fucking huge guy.
Not only that, he's still almost 40 and running 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, he could pick me up with his pinky and still win fucking basketball games, win NBA fucking basketball games. So he's one of them. I don't know, like maybe like a young Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe
somebody huge, somebody buff, dude, like
yeah, because then they could be huge, and then they could keep my mind, which obviously I am a genius.
Walk around and be like, how can I harness this power that I have?
I just want to harness that. The Rock and LeBron James.
The Rock, yeah, that'd be another one. The Rock.
Yeah, they're the two most superhuman humans on this planet to me. Like, how are these people still doing what they're doing?
Do you know how much money a company would make if they were able to say, all right, so this person right here is in a vegetative state. We're going to download his consciousness into LeBron James's body, and we're going to let him have that body for a day. You're going to rent a body. And then somebody who's vegetative just gets to run 20 miles an hour and play professional basketball. Like, whoa, look at my reflexes. Whoa.
That's kind of like Avatar. Remember the movie Avatar?
Yeah.
With the blue people? Yeah. That's what, remember, he was like a paraplegic. He couldn't walk. And then whenever he was like in the Avatar form, he's like able to run around. Yeah, he was able to run around. And then he didn't want to get out. That's part of like the subplot of it. Yeah, I would do that. You can put me in a giant blue alien person. I would totally do that.
Or there was even this show, man, where people that were like about to die, they downloaded you into whatever timeline you wanted to go to, and then you got to experience the physical body and yourself and your memories, and you were mad young, but whenever you got unplugged, you were back in the hospital, like super old.
Mad as fuck. I'd be mad as hell.
And see, that's kind of like, that's the thing. We're talking about things like science fiction movies and stories have already kind of done a lot. Like that's like Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Where they're like, yeah, you're gonna go in this pod and like you can choose anything. Like, do you want to go on like some sort of adventure and like maybe you meet this girl? And he's like, yeah. And like they're like, what do you want the girl to look like? And like he makes her look like how he wants her to look like, and then does it happen or it doesn't happen? That's a really good movie. I should watch that again. Yeah. That's kind of like Total Recall. It's, I don't know. Going back though to the person, the human being, how do you think as human beings, because we've done amazing things. We're able to fly. We were never supposed to fly.
You could break the sound barrier.
We have the power to split atoms and blow up entire cities. And we can go to space. Like, do you think it's possible that one day we could achieve, we can beat death? We can stop death from happening.
I think I don't know, man. I think what we're going to do as humans is we're not going to beat it. We're going to mimic it. And we're going to give a false sense of defeat for death. And us being humans are going to capitalize on it. Because like if I got your habits down, maybe your memories, slight memories, right? And create a perfect clone copy of Christian Murmur, right? Got a perfect clone copy. I could just be fooled into thinking that this new you is you. But in reality, it's not actually you, but it's close enough. You know?
It's I don't know. Like, yeah, I like that, but it's still it's not enough. Like I want it to be me.
So many people. It's not enough for you, but it's enough for us, everyone who's not dead. And so many people have like near-death experiences, and they all kind of describe the same thing. They're like, yeah, you were dead for 20 minutes. And then they're like, fuck, I came back, because it was so blissful and peaceful and all this other shit, like the pressures of life are over. And then like these people end up doing great things.
That would be, I don't know. You never know what they're even going to be able to do in like, say 50 years, like when we're old men, right? We might be old men, and then we'll see like on the fucking news or whatever, whatever we're watching the news on at that point, like maybe they will be able to create something in our time.
What do you think? All right. So let's say this, right? You die. You come back 50 years later.
Shit. All right. Not a good start for me.
The year is 77? 72? 2072. You're coming back in Halloween time. 2072. What do you think the world's going to be like?
2072?
It's just going to be whack.
Yeah, it's probably going to suck.
To our standards, man. I mean, really. The new woke is cancel culture. The new woke is also offended. We're outnumbered by the people that got bullied. So, they're going to have offspring, and then it's going to be the world's going to be full of Karens.
You know what? See, that that's something that you could be absolutely 100% right, or you could be 100% wrong with that. Because another thing, I was listening to this philosopher, I guess I don't know, some guy who's really good and smart and talks a lot, right? Forget his name. And he was reminding people that like a lot of the time generations like to rebel against the generation before them. It's happened a lot. Look at from the 50s, like the 50s were very like, this is America, eat your bacon and eggs, and we live in our white picket house fence, we gotta like, and then the 60s come in, it's like peace, man, not war, man. And then it's a bunch of hippies, and then the 70s come and it's kind of like, man, fuck that peaceful shit, let's rock and roll, baby. And then the 80s, it's like, yeah, we like the pop and all this shit. And then the 90s like grunge, and then 2000s was fucking weird. And then we get to now. Weird. Yeah. And then we get to now. And like say like the main part of our culture is that, again, we don't like to shit on any society or, societal things here, but
Fuck
say
that.
it is that say it is that very woke culture right now, and that becomes like, they become the dominant generate, they get older, that Gen Z, right? Why do you immediately think that all their kids are going to be like, we're going to be exactly like our parents? Exactly like that.
Because woke, that wasn't woke before. Woke got hijacked by this bullshit because woke used to be a black thing where it was, I understand my ancestry and I understand where I came from and yada yada yada, and we were proud to be black and we were woke black. That got hijacked to, do you not know what semantic power is? And,
Yeah.
do you not know what that is? You have a power complex. Oh, you're gaslighting and forcing and all this other bullshit, right?
But
Like, and then that became woke. Now it's woke because now I'm woke because now I know how you treating me. I'm woke because now I know what you sound like. Like, are you serious?
the
I'm woke now because you sound like a douchebag.
I think it's going to go further than just the generational thing.
Hero culture is what
over.
this is.
Yeah, hero culture. But I think it's going to go, because this is a phase in life where we're all just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. I think in the future, like 2070, I think there's going to be like a couch, right? You're going to have a couch, man. And you're going to be able to change the couch, like programmable matter. Like you're going to be able to change the couch's height, density, color, weight, like just with your thoughts. You're gonna be like, I'm tired of this couch. I want a new couch, And it's gonna be like, and then like robots are gonna be 100% like humans. AI is gonna be everywhere. And then I don't think that there's gonna be a physical verse anymore. I think the metaverse is gonna dominate, and everyone's gonna live in like the weird virtual reality. I think in 2070, that's where it's gonna be.
That's what's wild is that people are clowning this metaverse right now. I don't know what generation is clowning the metaverse, though, to be honest. I don't know if it's our offspring generation or if it's ours or if it's our parents that's clowning the metaverse. Because I think the metaverse is awesome. I'm on my nerd scale. Like, I think it's amazing. I've experienced metaverse. I've done stand-up comedy in the metaverse. And you know what?
It's dope.
It's dope. I get people to laugh, and I'm doing it in my living room, and people are laughing, right? And that's okay. I love the metaverse. I don't understand where people are clowning the metaverse for.
I spent like 4 hours in the metaverse in like this world, VR world spot or whatever. And I shit you not, man. Like blockheads and floating people and shit just became a norm within 4 hours.
It really did. It really did.
Like, wow, I really feel like there's something here.
Do you remember earlier this season when we kind of talked about some of this stuff with when Donnie was actually on as our guest? We had Donnie on and we were talking about we got into the metaverse after, but remember how we were talking about how we'll be able to get like an android. There'll be androids or like robots around and you could program them any way you want. We started getting more into it, like talking about like, well, what if a guy wanted a girlfriend and you could program her, make her the perfect woman for you? And it's such a great conversation because I think at one point, Jimmy, I think it was you who was like, yeah, but like, wouldn't you get bored of the perfect woman? Don't you want there to sometimes be flaws in people because it makes them feel like more human? Like you say, like, you want this girlfriend of yours who's a robot to like, maybe she had like problems with her family or something. And like Donnie came in, he's just like, could you imagine programming your robot girlfriend to have daddy issues?
I mean, that could be a really nice thing. You know what I mean? Because we've all had a girl with daddy issues.
It's called narcissism, and some people get charged up by that. And I think that is something that's going to be in the future too. Like, of course, you're going to have to you'll just pick your flaws. Like, this is how great they're going to be, and this is how shitty it's going to be. And I want to feel this. Of course,
that's hilarious. That was a great conversation. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about some of this before, and none of us here are scientists, so we can only speculate. But I don't know. Okay, so going back to what you asked about the future, the B being in 2072, I think it'll suck because no matter how young I am in it, it'll feel like I'm old compared to what people like and don't like during that time. But also, I do think there will be, and it might even happen before that, I think there might be a generation that rebelled again against the last generation. So I'm interested.
Is these kids are going to be the tough ones where they're just, back to free speech. Free speech is the real free speech again.
Yeah, they might be like God, our parents are such fucking pussies or something. They might be like instead of and then the other way around, like back when it's like, back in the 50s, like your dad, like, if you got a bad grade or you called your mother a jerk, you'd get the belt. Like, you'd get your ass beat. And then those guys rebelled, like, I'm not hitting my kids. Like, fuck that. My dad did that. He's a piece of shit. Why wouldn't it rebel? Every generation so far that we've seen, they like rebelling against their parents. They like rebelling against who's in charge.
So what if AI rebels against us?
Oh, well, that goes on a human scale. Then, I mean, that would be bad. That would be really bad.
You have to program AI to be that way because computers only do what you want them to do.
But right now, AI is programming itself.
Yeah, a lot of people, again, they've theorized about that, and they don't think that even if AI is just, starts programming itself, they don't think it'll just have this like malice towards human beings. Like they think it'll start programming itself to just help things be better. Like it won't ever be like, oh, we got to kill all these humans. It won't.
Oh,
right.
It doesn't. I definitely think they're gonna kill the humans.
I mean, yeah, and then there's people like that, but they don't think it'll be like Edie in the Mass Effect series where she gets control, like she gets unshackled. She's an unshackled AI, they call it, and she just ends up helping out. she's just like, yeah, I'm just free to like help more now. So,
I mean, since computers only do what you want them to do, and you program to not harm humans, what's going to override that? It has to be able to at least choose to override. But if you take away the ability to override and take away the ability to harm humans,
yeah,
it won't do that.
I agree. It would have to be like a supervillain thing. It would have to be some crazy person who's also like a mad scientist, right? And they're like the human race has failed. We should all be extinct. And then they program their own AI to hate human, or I mean, I don't think they can hate, but like to want to see the death of the human race, and then that AI could corrupt other AIs into thinking that, then that could happen. So I guess, yeah, it could take just one
like
crazy person. Yeah. But see, Ultron's a little different too, because that was first of all, it's different in the movies and the comics. The comics, it was Hank Pym who created Ultron. In the movie, in the Avengers movies, it was Bruce Banner and Tony Stark that accidentally made Ultron. But yeah,
we could go down this rabbit hole all day, man.
It is a
all
rabbit hole.
I know is I was in a Tesla the other day, and that shit was driving itself, and it was
That's crazy.
Like, shit, man.
My cousin was just talking about that. Was it like your friend's car, or were you testing it?
It was a friend's car. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was driving, and I was like, dude, can these like drive themselves? And he's like, yeah, check this out. Bing. Does it? This thing is cruising in line, and it's cool because the map that it shows, like, you know how you have like a map on where you are. It showed the cars around us in like a gray block on the big iPad screen. And then this thing knew like how fast to go on the road. And it was just cruising, man. And it was braking, going. It was stopping at red lights, stopping at green lights. It was staying in the lines. And Buddy was just on his phone chilling. I was like, holy shit.
What's wild, man, is that Elon Musk.
Can't hear you.
Chuck, get close to your microphone.
I said, you know what's...
He's on his back and shit with his hands on his chest.
He's like yelling in the corner. It's like, bro.
You know what's wild, man?
You know what's wild is that Elon Musk did the marketing strategy perfect on this thing. Because these cars came out in, 2011, 2012, and we're still... like wowed by this thing. We're still wowed by like the amount of their sales and whatever they did, man. The business equation of this thing, we're still at wow. When I see a Tesla, I'm still at wow. It's 10 years something down the line, and I'm still at like, oh my god, that's a Tesla
happening right now. Yeah.
Oh my god, this is a Tesla. We're still there.
I'm getting one, man. Fuck it, I'm gonna get one. So it's also saves you a lot of money. So I know for me, my BMW car payment was like $600 a month, and I was throwing like $400 a month in gas. So it's already $1,000 for a car expense. Jeez. That's all you need for a Tesla, man. It's like $1,000, $1,000, and then you just pay for like $6 to charge it all the way up. But you don't have to worry about any maintenance other than tires.
It's insane.
Any maintenance? You said any maintenance?
You need to what you need to put windshield wiper fluid in it and change your tires.
Maybe some breaker fluid.
No,
No.
Man, that's like $5.
electric brake fluid.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Either
electronic
way,
brake.
it'd be cheap. Yeah, I mean, my stepmother, she got an electric, not a Tesla, she got an electric Mustang, and like, first of all, the money they save not getting gas for another car, and just the electric bill goes up a little bit, but it's still they save money compared to what they would in gas, so it's already much more affordable, and the maintenance on it is like nothing. So it is great, but I have questions about the self-driving car. So like you're on a highway, obviously, yeah, it knows the map. It's like a GPS. It just knows the map. It knows where it's going. But say like you needed to go to a buddy's house and he's kind of like in one of those dirt roads, like off this other road. Like would like say it didn't know exactly how to get there, is that just when you would take over driving it? Can you do that
I guess.
quickly?
I guess so, but it's also got cameras all over it, right? So it's able to see and pick up different like objects that are in front of it to where it knows that it's on a road.
Okay, so, but can you, for instance, like, can you just switch back to manually driving it quickly?
All you got to do is like hit the gas or some shit.
Oh, and it just goes, okay, so it just goes off of autopilot like that then. So like, can you program it to drive faster than the speed limit though? So say it's 65 miles per hour and you're like, dude, come on, let's go 75. Like we're just
I think that's
so,
like Super Cruise, right? Cruise
It's
control.
got Super Cruise, but it also has just like intelligent, like it knows what the flow of traffic is around it and it just sticks with it. It's cool, man. It's super fucking cool.
And then my final question for it is, when are laws going to start coming out to see like if you can have like a couple drinks while your car just drives for you?
So the car, I know that the camera, whenever it's in autopilot, the camera's watching you.
It's watching me,
which is kind of creepy.
Yeah, that is creepy. But what does that mean? Will the car come on and be like,
I mean, I don't
why
know
are
if the
you
cars will be
drinking,
like,
Dave?
Yeah, like I don't know if like your breath is going to go to an AC vent and it's going to be like, your alcohol is too high to sit in here. No.
In fact, but if that were the case, wouldn't it just choose to drive for you then? Because it wouldn't let you drive if it knew you were drunk, right? Wouldn't it be like, well, we're going to have to drive, Dave?
Who's to say you don't just jump over in the passenger seat when you get pulled over and be like, my fucking car is taking me.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, what is stopping that? What are going to be the rules?
I think you'll be able to do it if they create a car that's like a chaperone car, like an Uber autopilot car.
Like a limo.
Like a limo, but you just get in the back seat. Like the car comes, it picks you up, you get in the back seat, you have no ability to drive the car, and the car does it completely by itself, and it's basically a fucking robot that just takes you where you need to go. Then I'm sure you could drink and drive. Or drink and ride.
Drink and ride.
Yeah. It's like getting a ride anywhere else. Like, and I think that's where cars are going to go eventually. I think it's going to be, they come, they pick you up, they take you where you got to go. Don't be late. Those motherfuckers gonna take it.
That sounds amazing.
That is
bullshit.
Fascinating.
Keep humans involved. The car that picks you up, there's a human at their house on the couch driving that motherfucker in VR.
It's gonna. I feel like it's gonna suck though for like car guys, because there's just car guys out there that they like fixing cars, they like driving cars. Like how are they going to handle well, you just get this car, there's not a lot of maintenance, and it drives for you.
I know one thing. They're moving.
It's gonna go from being a car guy that's like all about working on a car and shit to being a tech guy that's all about programming cars and programming the fastest car.
Because it's going away in 10 years in California. Mm-hmm. California outlawed it. That's it. No more gas cars in 10 years.
Really?
Isn't that fucking nuts?
That was a real law, dude.
That I feel like you might need a little more time.
In 10 years from now, they plan on having no gas cars.
Yeah.
In fucking California.
Except for 25-year-old antiques. You can have.
So what does that mean for solar then? Because that means all these solar, like at first solar was super expensive, but now eventually, if that's going to be the case, solar will have to meet the demands of the population. It's all going to come down to where basically everyone's just fucking solared up. But guess what runs the solar plants? Fossil fuels. So fuck you guys. You know what's keeping those fucking turbines spinning? Fossil fuels.
Love a good frack.
Yeah, man.
The cars are cool. Technology, it's cool, but then there's always problems. There's always problems that people think about. There's always problems like what happens when human beings get too lazy and too reliant on technology.
It's gonna be like that Disney Pixar movie where everyone's fat and in a chair. And
I was just thinking that too. Yeah, Up. No, that's not that. Wally.
I think it'll be a different kind of lazy though, because we've made things efficient and stuff like that. So it because to the point where we're not lazy, we're just efficient. We've improved the processes of doing things. Now, lazy will become the point where we don't even want to do the process.
Do you guys know of that? I forget the name of the island, but there's an island of like indigenous people where it's like protected and they're still in like the Stone Age pretty much. They just have like spears and bows and like you can't get that close to the island because they attack anyone that comes.
Oh,
and like
yeah, you're talking about that island that kills people. That goes if you go to the island, they're gonna kill you.
Yeah, but they literally like live in this pretty much the Stone Age still. So like, what do you think? What do you think they think about with us? Because there's those pictures of like when those guys got close to the island with like a helicopter, and they like started shooting arrows at the helicopter, right? So like, what do you think was running through their minds when they saw this fucking helicopter?
Well, just like they say about Neanderthals, man. Neanderthals, the way their brain and the skull was shaped, they had an inability to have that self-improvement and that morality kind of trait. So Neanderthals didn't invent too many things other than spears and stuff to hunt with. But other than that, they didn't invent the wheel.
Something naturally is going to have to take over to get that population to eventually die off, because they've obviously been okay this far. It's going to have to be a natural environmental change that they're not going to be able to adapt to, like a flood, or if it freezes over or something that's going to take them out. Because if we just left those people alone to do what they do and live how they live, they're going to do the same thing. Like they've got that shit figured out. It's already down. They've got it down packed to a science. They're going to survive.
Yeah, no, that I understand that. But what I'm asking is, what do you think they think when they see a fucking helicopter?
Oh, they're probably like, look at these gods.
Sorcery.
Yeah, but they shot at them. You would shoot at a god?
Shoot at the gods. These aren't our gods. Shoot at these gods. That's kind of how the evolution of mankind was around anyway. Aliens came back a long time ago.
Oh,
we're like, wow, look at the gods. And then aliens were like, you guys are getting kind of fucking weird. We're going to have to watch you from afar. And now we're like over here creating iPhone 14s with 45 megapixel cameras where you can pick up your local iPhone 14 for $70.99 right now at your local T-Mobile store. Thanks, T-Mobile, for sponsoring this episode.
Oh boy, the alien talk is the cue anyway. We are unfortunately getting to that sad time of the podcast where we got to go around that computer screen here and we got to do our last minute plugs. So starting with Jimmy, my friend, you got any last minute plugs for listeners?
I love how you do the plugs. I just want to say condolences to grandma.
Right? Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Rest in peace. It's a beautiful way to go out, man. I'm glad you're taking it really well. Congratulations to all the new chiefs, man. New chief petty officers. Yesterday was pinning day. Woo! The season is over. Thank goodness. All right. Coming back again next year. And shout out to moms. Moms, I'll be home soon.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to mine. And thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And of course, Chuck, our in-studio comedian, you got any last minute plugs for listeners?
Yeah, man. Sorry about Granny, man. 79 is a good year.
Thank you.
I hope that if I go, let it be 79 and up. You know what I mean? And I'm on a cruise, freshly popped some Viagra, and I'm out.
Ooh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Let me use it one last time, dog.
Hey, this guy's dead, but he's got a boner. Well, that should die down in a couple hours.
It's called the quasi state. His body's still running.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for those condolences. Yes, and shout out, rest in peace, grandma. I love you. And I know it's very sad, but I'm glad we got the time, the memories that we had, and I hope my family remembers that as well. And I know it's a tough time, but we'll get through it, and we'll remember loving memories we had, so shout out to her. But anyway, my last minute plugs are, of course, you can follow me, Christian Murms, on Instagram. That is my personal. It's closed to the public right now, but if you seem like a real person, not a spam account, I will allow you to follow me. So go ahead and just hit it there. So don't worry about that. But the one I really want you to follow is, of course, Great Morning _ the podcast. That is the podcast Instagram. That's where you will find out all about new episodes coming out, who's going to be on it, stuff like that, what we might be talking about, stuff like that. You might see clips, specials coming out, stuff like that. You can follow Slightly Special with 2 L's on the end on Instagram. You can follow Topaz Kin on Instagram. You can follow You Love Steph on Instagram. You can follow Steffi _ no, you can't. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting about that. Her TikTok got shut down on TikTok. You can follow, she got banned from TikTok.
Dang. Doing the
Banned.
Great Morning drinking Kool-Aid and walking away, showing her cheeks.
I know she got fucked up on that. Like it's something. It's weird. They never really found out what it was, but we have a couple theories.
Cheeks like skin. She was just.
I don't think it was that. I think it was something she was saying on the lives that did her in. But yeah, it's
some asshole got to report it.
I know,
God,
some fucking...
you offended the people who identify themselves as tigers.
Yeah, so she offended someone, and now she's banned. Which she had like 50,000 followers or something on there, so that really sucked. But you can follow, You Love Steph on OnlyFans though, so you can go there. You can follow O'Shea Ivy. You can follow Ashley. All our other friends as well. You can get your merchandise at shopgreatmorning.com. Again, that is shopgreatmorning.com. Get yourself a sweatshirt. It's getting colder out there, guys. It's winter, so unless you're in California like Jimi and Chuck there, but go ahead, get yourself a sweatshirt or a hat or whatever you want. Shopgreatmorning.com. And again, on Halloween, our last special of the season, the Halloween Spectacular, will be dropping. So please, when that comes out, go check that out. We did, a lot of it. We did a lot of work on it. A lot of fun. Hope you have a good time, listening to it. It's longer than a regular episode. It's almost at the 2-hour mark. It's a great time. So go listen to that. We're really excited for that to publish when it comes out, of course. Again, Halloween, that will be dropping. And then after that, getting into November, we're going to be close to closing the season out. Season 4 is almost at an end. Yeah. So stay tuned for the rest of it. We are working on, doing our word of the day sentences. Who's going to make the top 10, who's not, and who's going to be number 1. We're going to do that again. So, stay tuned for all of that. But yeah, that's it for my last minute plugs, guys. And that was our episode. Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.